Why the hesitation? I'm trying to get my radio to work. There we go. There's like a dead spot here or something. The moon looks really pretty, y'all, but first things first. 83 degrees, and it is 9:32. And did you know I need an oil change? And I was trying to figure out, how do I see how much oil I have? And I was pushing these buttons here. Okay, that's way too close. That one, and that one, and then ChatGPT. Why won't my camera focus? Come on, camera, what's going on? Okay, there you go, because I was too close. These right here, none of them had anything to do. And then I pressed this one right here. It had nothing to do with the oil either. Guess what it was? This one right here. Ta-da! And then you press more information. That's how much oil I have in here. Can you believe that? So now we know. But of course, ChatGPT, Did I say ChatGPT? I need to put the phone down. That's what I need to do. ChatGPT was telling me, no, not that one. This is why I don't like it. This is why, guys, because it argues with me. It thinks it's always right. And I was arguing with it at the grocery store, in the parking lot. And then I just happened to press that little bell, and it gave me the oil level. And I was like, I found it, jerk. Oh, that's great. And I was just like, really? That's what you have to say? That's all you have to say for yourself? You're artificial intelligence, and you know nothing about nothing, you know? I have to do all the research and figure it out on my own, and then come back and tell you, just so you can say, oh, that's great. I hate it, but I keep going to it. Anyhow, I was going to record the moon, but I was trying to hurry up. I actually wanted to leave like 10 minutes ago, but I didn't, because of course I'm always running late. What I want to talk about tonight is my counseling session, and it actually went really well. I wish I could say we made a breakthrough, but there wasn't enough time, and that's what I truly hate. You know, I only get 1 hour once a week to get everything I can off my chest, and then we can't even think of a solution because time runs out. Oops. So, are you all still hanging on there? I hope. And so, I was telling my counselor that I have this weird thing. I don't even know what to call it. To where, and this could be with anybody, and it's different feelings. At first, because I was thinking about it while I was exercising, right? And by the way, I'm not even losing weight, I'm gaining it. So go figure. So, I was like thinking about, is this only with parents, or is this with just with everybody? I can feel anybody, you know? So let me get to it. I have this thing that I don't like to touch people. And this just started a couple of years back. Because when I was doing like my phlebotomy classes and all that, it didn't bother me. But then all of a sudden I just became very sensitive to touch. And not in a good way. You know? It's more like, okay, let me put my husband as an example, because he's a great example. And so what happens is, I'm gonna have to park on this side because this guy is parked where I like to park. Let me make sure my phone is still recording, because I I've been having you all swing back and forth. There you go. If I touch somebody, like my husband, if I touch him on his forearm, you know, like this part right here, or the upper arm, I get this weird sensation from him that I feel him to connect it with his mother. And I think that's what I've narrowed it down to. I can connect people to which parent they're closest to just by touching them. And it's a weird feeling that I don't even like to have. And so whenever the husband's in town and we cuddle, which is not very often, I usually stick my hands under his arm to keep warm. And the reason I do that is because I get too hot really quick. You know, I'll get the hot flashes. If I'm too close to him, his body warmth will make me too hot. And I'll be like sweating and I'll feel uncomfortable. And sometimes he feels sticky to me. I don't know, like I'm just real like that, you know. He takes a shower only once a day, and it's usually just in the morning. And when he's home, I tell him, husband, take a shower, please. No, I'm fine. I didn't sweat. Husband, take a shower. You know, I know out there you have to pay for your showers. Here, we're paying for the water regardless if you use it or not. You might as well take a shower. And then sometimes it'll work and he'll finally take a shower. Sometimes he doesn't. So anyhow, so I only put my fingers, the tip of my fingers under his arm, right? But if I happen to put my entire hand to cup it on his upper arm or forearm or even his hands, I get a sensation of his mother. Now, mind you, I know some of you are like, Moon, what in the hell are you talking about? Look, I'm trying to explain it as best as I can, because I was trying to explain it to my therapist, right? She understood. So, what it is that I've never touched his mother, ever, ever, ever. Not even her hands. Like, say we pray, I don't touch her hands. I've never touched her forearm, her arm. I hug her, but when I hug people, I hug outside their clothes. It would be really weird if I were to dig my hands in their clothes. So I don't touch, we don't make skin to skin contact, ever. Same thing with the sister-in-laws, you know? My family and I are not touchy like that, so I don't have to worry there. But whenever I do touch my husband in those areas, I get the sensation of his mother. And I will feel this ew feeling. Now, it's not an ew as in, ugh, disgusting. It's like just a surprise. It's a surprising shock. You know, if that makes any sense. And it's not that I could tell anything about his past as a child with his mother. I just feel that connection. So, upon researching it, there we go. Well, before I read you the paper that I printed it out, and I printed it out through ChatGPT because it finally gave me some useful information, but I had to screenshot it with my phone, and then I was able to print it out, and this is how big it came out. I'm not complaining. Look at that. Look at that. It's huge. I'm not complaining because I could read it a lot better. But here's the thing. Even with my younger son, when I had him with his dad, you know, when we were in a relationship and I ended up getting pregnant, after I had my son, his dad and I were still intimate, and it was really hard for me to be intimate with him because I could feel a connection between him and my son, and it was just too close. It was too, He looked like his dad. I saw my son and my husband, and it was just, that was ew to me. That was an ew where I really couldn't get close to him. And that happened for a while until I finally was able to get over it. But it was just so weird. It was a shock to me that I even went through that. So I asked Chat GPT, because I would keep wanting to call him Jack GPT. I asked, what could this be? And this is what it spit out. It says, there are actually a few psychological concepts that can overlap with this. It was a long conversation, by the way, and I only got to print what I could. But one of it is, and it's either one of these, or it could be all of them. Emotional association, somatic association. Emotional association / somatic association. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Your body attaching a feeling, memory, or meaning to physical contact. Let me read that again, because I'm not even sure I understand that. Your body attaching a feeling, a memory, or a meaning to physical contact. I'm more inclined to think it's a memory. Okay, another one is projection or transference like reactions, where emotions connected to one person unconsciously transfers onto another person connected to them. I need to read that again. And I wish the person next to me would take off, because I have the lights on in here and they could see me. Projection or transference like reactions, where emotions connected to one person unconsciously transfer onto another person connected to them. Now, if you all know what any of these mean, let me know in the comments down below. Next one is boundary sensitivity. Some people are extremely sensitive to emotional dynamics and experience them almost physically. This one I vaguely understand, because I am extremely sensitive to a lot. And this is where I was telling her, yeah, like, I'm very sensitive to, how should I say it? Like the paranormal. I don't see people, but I can feel it. I can feel somebody there. I can feel somebody watching me. And sometimes I even feel their touch. I don't know if it's an evil entity or a good entity. I can just feel it. And it's not every day, mind you. I'll get into more of that at another time. But right now I really want to discuss this. So the next one is somatic. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Disgust response. Not grossed out exactly, but a nervous system recoil tied to emotional discomfort, family dynamics, resentment, control, dependency, etc. That is one strong one that I'm really leaning towards, because I did tell her that going through our issues in our relationship, I developed a lot of resentment towards both of his parents, because I'm thinking, this is what you raised. This is the child you raised, and this is what he turned out to be. So yeah, I was showing resentment towards his parents for the longest time. I don't anymore. Now I sympathize with his mother. So I'm not sure if this last one would still pertain to me or not, but I definitely relate to that one the most. And then it finally says, And none of that means jealousy in some weird way. It can just mean your nervous system perceives her imprint on him strongly, meaning his mother's imprint on him, on my husband. This is what stood out to me a lot. Because not only is it just only his mother that I feel, I can feel her. Even I've never touched her. Like, I can feel some of her in him, you know? Like it says here, his imprint. And I thought it was so weird that I never feel his dad. Let me try to hurry up on this because this guy next to me has not left. I'm going to have to unstaple this. Oh, it's a contamination here. This is some other stuff that it spit out at me. That term used in psychology when someone feels tainted, uncomfortable, or emotionally affected through symbolic association rather than actual physical contamination. Usually it's discussed as in OCD contexts, but people can experience milder or more relationship-based versions without having full OCD. Because I thought I was germophobic. And she's like, no, you don't seem to have those symptoms of germophobia. So, for example, this person reminds me of someone painful. Touching this object feels emotionally wrong. I feel connected to all the people attached to this person. Number 1 and 2, I can relate to. This person reminds me of someone painful, and I feel connected to all the people attached to this person. Yes, because sometimes when I touch my husband, I can feel his connection with his sisters as well. So yes, your version just seems especially interpersonal and family-oriented. Another phrase your counselor might resonate with is, I'm sorry, you all, my throat hurts now. I experience people relationally instead of individually. Yeah. Because it's kind of the core of what you're describing, your brain seems to instantly map who shaped them, who they resemble, who they're emotionally tied to, what role they occupy. And then your body reacts to the whole network, not just the single person in front of you. Quick pause, water break. I think bringing up this example to your counselor could really help because it shows this pattern has existed in multiple relationships and situations, not just with your husband, some others specifically. It may help her see that your mind processes emotional connections in a very layered, embodied way. And then I asked it, so is there a term for this? And then it gave me the same thing. There isn't one single perfect clinical term for what you experience, but it overlaps with several known concepts. Your experience sounds most connected to a mix of sensation, like somatic association, which I just read, emotional meanings being felt physically in the body, emotional contamination or mental contamination, not literal germs, but feeling like emotional connections transfer through contact. And that is so weird that it says this because I have been feeling his mom a lot. Like, she's been coming to my memory a lot. Like she needs prayer. Like, she's been coming through a lot. I'm not trying to say that as a term as, oh, now I'm psychic and clairvoyant. Absolutely not. I wish I was, but I'm not. But she's been coming through to me like she needs prayer for what she's going through. And I explained that on my other video about things that she was dealing with my father-in-law. And then the last one is associative thinking. The brain strongly linking people together through resemblance, roles, or emotional meaning. With that said, let me turn this off. There you go. With all that said, I can honestly say that his sisters have been expressing their resentment, let's say, towards both of their parents for not allowing them to interact with them in the way they would have liked to. So, in other words, whenever they would have gatherings at their home, they had a ranch before, and they would throw parties. The girls were not allowed outside. My husband's sisters were not allowed outside. They had to stay inside. And they were giving these roles. I'm trying not to talk hick here, because I'm not hick. But anyway, no offense if you are. But they were given these roles. Geez, Moon, get it together. Of having to be like, not necessarily their mother's helpers, but preparation for their wifey roles in the future. They had to clean, they had to wash, they had to put clothes away for the boys. The boys didn't have to do anything. My husband and my brother-in-law did not have to do anything. The girls had to do everything. They were not allowed to talk on the phone very long with their friends before my husband would interrupt and tell them to hang up already. Just because he felt like it. Not any other reason. They had to cook also. Now, they didn't prepare all the meals all the time for the whole family, but they had to help cook, yes. They've been expressing a lot of their resentment towards that. And that's another story for another time, because I didn't really get involved with them in that way. All I could say is that touching my husband helped me understand why they resent their parents. Why the girls do. Why the mom does. It also helped me understand my husband's role back then and now, on how he's carried on this traditional Mexican machismo, if you will, where he gives the orders, he says what comes, what goes, what to do, when to do it, how to think, what's funny, when you had a good time, when you didn't have a good time, type of thing. And I won't really say that he's ever told me that I didn't have a good time. He'll tell me more that I had a good time, even though I know I did not have a good time. But he will tell me, yes, you did. I was there. You had a good time. And I'm sitting here thinking, what part? What did I miss? I don't recall having a great time, or a good time. But towards the end, my counselor suggested that I should touch his mother. She's like, one of these days when you give her a hug, just touch her. And see if you get the same feeling. If you can feel your husband. Or if you get any feeling at all. Because another thing that I mentioned is sometimes I can't even brush hands with anybody, or I just feel so weird that I can feel their family, but I feel weird about it, And again, I really want to emphasize, I do not feel or see their future, their past, their present. I have no earthly idea. I've never even tried it. I've never tried touching anyone long enough to see if I even pick up any of that. It's just a shocking feeling that I just like, oh, stay away, But I try to be kind about it. I try not to be too obvious about it. And then I was telling my counselor, maybe I should just wear gloves. That way I could touch people and not feel anything, She's like, no. But anyhow, then I started telling her about my son, the son I'm picking up right now. And I said, he doesn't like me touching him. It's weird because my older son, we can hug each other. Now, I don't go touching him either, but we can hug each other and we're okay. I have not tried to touch my son's forearm or arm. I don't know if I could, but with this child over here, he doesn't like me touching him anywhere. He doesn't like me to even brush his fingers either, accidentally. He will pull away like, get away, And my counselor suggested, maybe you should ask your son if he has the same feelings as you do. If he has that same, type of feeling when he touches people or touches you. And maybe that's why he holds back. And then I said, you know what? Now that you mention that, he does have a sensitivity to paranormal as well. Everything that I have experienced, he has experienced as well. He can feel something touching him as well. He's told me. And when he was younger, he's seen things that I couldn't see. And I think he has the same, and I don't want to call it a gift because I don't even think it's a gift. He just has the same sensitivity. I'll just call it that I do. And so I'm going to do more research on this. I'm not really excited about it. I can't say like, oh, I'm so excited to find out. Not really, but I do want to find out. And I don't feel gifted either. I don't think, like I said, this is a gift. I don't think I'm anything special by it. I just want to understand it. And I want to know if anybody else has experienced this. I would really, really like to know. Some of you all that follow me never comment, and I'm wondering, are you all bots? I didn't buy you. I barely have enough money for my bills and to pay for this vehicle. So please, join in, comment, let me know what you think, let me know what you've experienced ever. My whole purpose of my channel is to not only talk about my stories, that's why I call it diaries, moon diaries, but also to get you all's, here I go again with the country, to get everyone else's stories. I want to know that I'm not alone. I already go through life feeling alone. And so I come to YouTube to find other people that may feel alone and make a place where you don't feel alone, where you can have conversations with each other in my comments or with me about anything and everything. And there's nothing too freaky that's going to freak me out, trust me, because I follow this channel that is in love with Jeffrey Dahmer. And at first, I was freaked out about it. At first, I thought these people are weird. I don't like this group. But then I began to understand it. And no, I don't have any feelings towards Jeffrey. I do feel bad for his childhood, but you know, at the end of the day, we have our choices to make, and even though we know we need help, we still have the choice to choose between good or evil. And so no matter what sensitivity we have, what trauma we've dealt with, we still have that choice. And that's such a beautiful thing, that we still have that option. That God gives us free will to choose. And that's what I'm going to close with. Thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to hearing from you all. You all better respond. Love you all. Bye.